What was that?
That was the Flatwoods Monster making its way to do this podcast with us.
Oh my God. And this is Jen.
This is Becky.
And this is Too Close to Home. And you guys are going to be so excited about this because I'm so excited about this.
Yes, this is going to be a fun one. You know, we put a lot of dark stuff out there, but these fun ones help break it up. They're interesting. A nice little funny listen as you drive to work or you're exercising or gardening or whatever you doing, cleaning the house when you listen to your podcast. That's what I listen
all
to
like
mine.
productive things. I know some of y'all probably like us rotting on the couch.
Yes. I will turn mine on when I'm taking a bath or a shower and listen to it. So, you know, whatever your thing is, I got a fun one for you today.
I put mine right on the corner of the shower so it echoes into my shower. And it's like, oh, look, it's like a surround sound, but it's like a ghetto one.
It's the poor man bathroom surround sound. I'm here for it.
I told Camilla she was crying because we had ham. And after we have ham, we had lima beans. And she's like, oh, my God, I really ate lima beans.
Oh, I love lima beans.
I'm sorry. I grew up on poor people food and still miss poor people food.
First of all, lima beans are delicious.
They are absolutely delicious.
So she needs to
open
her flavor palette.
She got that chicken nugget flavor palette. You know what I mean?
And hamburgers.
That's it.
All right. So now we're going to get into talking about the Flatwoods Monster. So for the cryptid of the week, we're going to go into the hills of West Virginia.
Oh my gosh. Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
And you know, you get up in those mountains, there's no telling what you're going to stumble across. There's no telling. I mean, you might come across a Bigfoot. You might come across a Flatwoods Monster. Who knows? I would prefer to come across Bigfoot than her, but let's learn about her.
Best time ever. What is it? Wild and Wonderful or something like that is what their tagline is for West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
There's also a documentary called The Wild Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it's a family and they are like, backwoods holler crackheads. Like it started out like, you know, just like the good old holler kind of family. But then, you know, like you had that 90s and 80s and 70s drug culture kind of come in.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of really fucked up the whole family dynamic. But there's also, it was a Johnny Knoxville production.
Oh, okay.
So at like some point they're at a Taco Bell. And she's like, do y'all have any Fiestas? And then she gets to the window and she goes, CPS took her baby yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Okay.
So that's
great setting
West
for
Virginia.
Oh, it's to come here, Jen. Nice for setting up the intro there. I like it. So the Flatwoods Monster, also known as the Braxton County Monster, Braxy, or the Phantom of the Flatwoods, is West Virginia folklore.
Kind of wish that she sounded like called herself like Cryptid Braxton, like Tony Braxton.
Cryptid Braxton. She's never told them that's her name. They just assumed. So she's a creature reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, which is why she goes by Braxton, Flatwoods, whatever you want to call her. So when I do my cryptids, I like to start by painting y'all a picture. Okay, I want you to really feel in it, and I want you to understand what
You're gonna do that, Bob Ross, Happy Trees.
Exactly.
We're just setting up this whole thing.
So I want to paint this picture so you can visualize her when we talk about her sightings, and you really understand what's going on. So when I tell you that her name's Braxy, automatically she sounds adorable, right?
Right.
She's not.
Oh no. I bet her mama loves her though. And sometimes it's only a mama's could love that
mama
face.
could love her. In fact, she's kind of frightful. It is believed that she is possibly an extraterrestrial nature. She was initially reported as being about 10 feet tall and 4 feet wide. And while I'm not here to body shame, I am here to say that girl thick.
The girl, yuck, thicker than a Snickers.
She's 4 foot wide. She's thick.
Body to barbalacious for you, babe.
She appeared to be some sort of robotic suit worn by an occupant of the spacecraft rather than an organic being. She had a cowl in the shape of an ace of spades behind a round red head. Do you know what a cowl is?
Mm-hmm. It's like the hood for like a cape.
Yeah, think Handmaid's Tale.
Married to a nerd.
I know.
Your husband also has a cape, right? That he likes to wear his wizard cloak.
I will not confirm or deny that.
JJ's a proud Hufflepuff. Don't you let him.
I might have pictures
You
of
let
him
that boy shine.
dancing around in it, but having the time of his life. She set in the middle of her head are 2 round eyes described as portholes, glowing green-orange about the size of $half. The body was a metallic armored structure lined with thick vertical pipes. The actual color of the armor varies between black, while others say it was green. The existence of arms is in a similar manner. Most state that the monster was armless, while others claim it possessed small, toy-like arms. Grab my strong hand! Grab my strong
Either
hand!
that or you ain't got no arms, Lieutenant Dan.
She got little baby T-Rex arms.
You know what? I love that. Keep the T-Rex arms. We are pro-dinosaur here.
So now that you have an image of her that you've created in your mind, we'll get to the sightings. So,
And boy, were they.
oh boy, were they.
If you could miss, look how wide she is.
Right?
Again, not body shaming. I'm just saying that's impressive.
I kept double checking. I'm like, really? 4 feet wide?
Was this a typo?
Is she square? I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
Do you push her and she rolled?
I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just here for it. You tell me. At 7:15 p.m. on September 12th, 1952, some little boys, Edward May, Freddie May, Nell Nutley, and Tommy Heyer, were playing on the lawn of the Flatwoods Elementary School when all of a sudden they witnessed a bright object across the sky. The object came to rest on land that belonged to one of the local farmers, G. Bailey Fisher's farm. Which, to point out, all aliens do land in a cornfield or a wheat field or some farm. So far, I'm believing it all.
Tracking.
Exactly. I'm glad you're right there with me.
You know what? Can't argue with this. It's indisputed, okay?
I have no doubt that's exactly where they landed.
If there's anything I know about an alien, it's a cornfield, okay?
Exactly.
And a cornfield hates to see them coming.
You know, a helicopter's not going to land where there's a bunch of buildings either.
Exactly.
So a spaceship has to find level
Nice,
ground.
cushy wheat field, just a...
Exactly. You know how much they pay for that spaceship?
Right?
And they did not get the paint warranty.
No, they did not. They did not get that ding warranty.
So once the craft landed, the little boys decided to go check it out. But as they were running there, they passed by the May boys' homes, and so they just stopped and decided to tell their mother, Catherine May, what they had seen. Catherine called the National Guardsman, Eugene Lemon, and the family dog Rishi to accompany her and her boys to the crash site. From there, the boys and a group of locals went to the farm to try to find whatever it was that the boys had seen. Now, this is the part that gets me slightly like, okay, what are we doing here? Because 3 little boys saw a spaceship and they went and got their mom first. That's not true.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I was like, I was also a badass child, so I would have just been like shagging ass straight to that shit.
Straight to it, because my mama wouldn't let me go up and touch it or see it. She wouldn't let me go.
She wouldn't let me go, and I don't need the FBI trying to edge in on my discovery.
Exactly. If anybody's getting paid for this, it's me.
Also, I might become a Men in Black. Have you not watched the movie? You just happen across an alien, just like Will Smith did. You end up in a secret government agency that's pretty cool with the flashy thing.
Exactly. I'm not going to have a missed opportunity because my mom came along.
I'll be damned, right?
So they go heading out to the field to where the object is landed, and the local's dog, Richie, ran ahead out of sight and started barking. Moments later, he ran back to the group with his tail between his legs. After traveling about a quarter of a mile, the group reached the top of a hill where they reportedly saw a large pulsating ball of fire about 50 feet away. Now, me, when the dog came back scared, I would have went with him. You know, not because I'm scared, but because I need to make sure that the safety of the pup is utmost.
Which is, you know, I mean, this is why I could have benefited
You know,
having you as a friend, because I would have also been like, you know what? I need to see what this dog's scared of. This dog sounds like it's being a little bit of a bitch.
I'm about animal safety. I'm going to escort him home. Again, not because I'm scared. I'm just protecting the dog. Jennifer would have ran ahead to the spaceship, and I'd been like, I'll see her when she gets back.
If she gets back.
If she gets back.
And I know if it's about 45 minutes.
And if it's her that returns. and someone's not wearing her skin as a bodysuit. Because that
Jennifer, I don't remember you having pointy things coming out of your ears.
you know, it'll be like when Men in Black, when they land on the farm and the alien takes over the farmer's body. And he like has to keep fixing his skin and
weird.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
When you came back looking like that, I'd be like, oh, hey, girl.
Something
I gotta
ain't
right. Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm going to be like, you look so good. I got to go home. Dinner bell's ringing.
What was that? I think they calling my name right now.
Oh. So when they saw this pulsating ball of fire, they also saw and smelled a mist that made their eyes and noses burn. Some of the members,
Some of the members said, "Oh no!" I know that's not what it is, but that's what I
it
thought.
It really went with it, didn't it? It popped up saying my battery's low. I'm like, oh no! So some of the members of the group suffered from throat irritation, vomiting, and nausea, which persisted for days. These symptoms were passed off as side effects of hysteria.
No,
I love it.
Did somebody finger bang them to get them to calm down? I thought that's how they handled hysteria back in the day.
But it was, in the article said, it was worth noting that these are also telltale signs of exposure to mustard gas. And remember, we're in the 40s here. Okay?
That's true.
So we ain't talking about 2024 when someone's like, might be mustard gas. You're like, what the fuck? This was prime time of mustard gas.
Yeah, exactly.
This is when it was the newest, funnest toy of the government for military uses. Now, I don't know what your thoughts are immediately on their symptoms, but myself, I'm personally a fan of hysteria.
I like it.
I'm always here for a good bout of hysteria myself.
I am least hysterical one time a day. Once a day.
At least.
I was watching, what's her name? The comedian Grazer, and she's talking about, like, she smokes weed and she has mastered the panic attack because of it. Because she doesn't just go immediately to the chill. I have to handle my panic attack first and then find my chill.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you know what? I feel that. I like that.
And I feel like we should stop calling them panic attacks and start calling them hysteria bouts.
Yeah. I just got a little bout of hysterias.
Sounds better.
I got the hysterias. Oh my God.
You know, not so quick to judge, maybe. A farmer noticed two small lights over to the left of the object, and he directed his flashlight towards them. And bam, there it was, revealing the creature, which was reported to have emitted a shrill hissing noise before gliding towards them.
Kind of like a...
That's what I was picturing.
That's
right
exactly
on.
what I was thinking.
What kind of vibe? It then changed directions and it headed off towards the red light.
You know, for a big old girl, she sure can move.
She can.
That's what my grandma said about me one time. I'm not lying. I was weed eating a ditch for her yard. She lived on the side of a mountain, and she turned to my mom. I was like, for a big girl, she really can move.
That is such a grandma of that time to say.
Absolutely.
After it went off towards the red light, at this point, the group fled in panic. They were like, we about to get the fuck out of here. And I personally most certainly would have as well.
Yeah. Run for your life.
If big girl was shrilling and hissing and gliding around, I'd be like, I know a good time and this is not it.
This is not it.
This is not it.
This was not in the pamphlet for this attraction.
But, you know, of course, just like with the dog, I would have took off a long motherfucking time ago. So I wouldn't have even been there. Upon returning home, the mother contacted the local sheriff and news reporter because why not?
Absolutely.
The reporter conducted a number of interviews and returned to the site with the farmer later that night, where he reported that there was a sickening burnt metallic odor still prevailing. The sheriff and his deputy searched the area separately but found no trace of the encounter. Early the next morning, the reporter visited the site of the encounter for a second time and discovered two tracks in the mud as well as traces of thick black liquid. He immediately reported them as being possible signs of a saucer landing based on the premise that the area had not been subjected to traffic for at least a year. It was later revealed that the tracks were most likely those of a Chevy pickup truck driven by a local who had gone to the site to look for the creature hours prior to Stewart's discovery. And I'm sure you are as shocked by that discovery as I am.
So shocked.
Imagine that. When the locals drove his pickup truck out there in the middle of the night and was like, hold my beer. I'm going to go find that.
Hold my beer.
After the event, investigators associated with the civilian saucer investigation. Yes,
Okay.
you heard that right.
Civilian saucer
Investigation. Also, the first CSI.
I was like, wait, CS? Oh, did you see it was going?
It was. The wheels were turning. And they obtained a number of accounts from witnesses who claimed to have experienced similar or related phenomena. These accounts included the story of a mother and her 21-year-old daughter who claimed to have encountered a creature with the same appearance and odor a week prior to September 12th incident. The encounter reportedly affected the daughter so badly that she had to be confined to a hospital for 3 weeks.
The hysterias.
Hysterias. You know, you can't get an overnight stay at the hospitals these days, but she saw a flying saucer and got a 3-week stay. I'm just saying, what's a girl got to do?
What's a girl got to do to get the grippy socks?
I just want a little vacation where somebody else cooks for me, makes the bed. That's all I want.
It would be so beautiful, right? I stay at my jammies all day. They keep sharp objects away from me.
They bring me opium.
They bring me opium. I hit a button and I feel great.
Just saying. What's a girl got to do?
What's a girl got to do? If you ask me what I want to do for Mother's Day, that's it right
That's
there.
it, yes. They also gathered a statement from the mother of the local farmer in which she said that at approximate time of the crash, her house had been violently shaken and her radio cut out for 45 minutes.
Woo! A lot of time.
And a report from the director of the local board of education in which he claimed to have seen a flying saucer taking off at 6:30 in the morning of September 13th, the morning after the creature was sighted. So there you go. Facts on facts.
Facts on facts on facts. It's tracking. Everything's tracking.
It is. Thank you. It is tracking. Ain't no way everybody's going to lie.
No. That wouldn't be the American way.
It would not. Another sighting of a creature similar in description to the Flatwoods Monster was reported by Miss Audra Harper not long before the infamous sighting on Fisher's Farm.
Oh my God. In my brain, I just saw like somebody like, my name is Audra Harper.
That's probably exactly what it was.
Hoppers. The Hopper family.
Miss Harper claimed to have seen the monster while walking through the woods near her home near the town of Heaters.
And they got the vapors.
Heaters is about 5 miles north of Flatwoods. Harper and her friend were walking to a nearby store. The road leading out of their property was impassable and rutted, so they were taking a shortcut through the forest instead of walking the road, which would have increased their trip significantly. About a half a mile into their trip, they noticed a ball of fire on one of the hills they were passing.
Harper, that's how I know I'm already soft. Like, they're walking a half a mile to the store. Fuck that.
No, absolutely not.
Camilla at school was like right down the street, and I was like, I might pick her up a walk if it's wintertime.
Or raining.
Maybe.
I'll
probably give up and have Jimmy come get us.
I used to walk uphill to school both ways.
In the snow.
In the snow. So Miss Harper seen the ball of fire on one of the hills, and she dismissed it, assuming that one of her neighbors was fox chasing.
What? How do you fox? What? Listen, I am not a hunter, but I am pretty sure you don't have a mage-style fireball to kill a fox. But that's just me.
Well, they weren't fox hunting; they were fox chasing.
That does make the difference.
It does, I guess. I don't know.
One's for the ha-has, or one's for seriousness.
That's right. What happens when the fox starts chasing you? Let's ask Siri.
What does the fox say?
We're right there on the same thing. When she glanced back, she saw something unbelievable. The fire had vanished, and in its place stood the tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped figure. Terrified, Harper and her friend ran, escaping among the rocks and boulders strewn about the hillside.
Sounds like the devil.
Sounds believable.
The devil went down to West Virginia is what it sounds like.
Sounds like to me.
Yeah.
The day after the Flatwoods incident, a couple, George and Edith Snitwatsky, and their 18-month-old son were driving through the rural area between Clay and Braxton County on Route 4 when their car suddenly died.
Segue, has nothing to do with this monster. But can we just all agree to stop doing the 18-month thing and just say they're a year and a half? Once you hit, like, above 13, I don't know where we're at.
We can probably agree to disagree because there are still people that are going to do it for infinity and beyond.
That's true. That's true.
I like your stance and I support it.
This is the hill I'm dying on.
But I'm afraid that we will die on that hill.
I really will.
Alone.
And I'll be dying on that hill trying to count to see how much is 18 months.
Shortly thereafter, a putrid sulfuric odor filled the air. The couple, circling the vehicle in hopes of spotting the culprit, spotted something.
You're going to go looking for the fart smell. That's really me and you'd be like, I'm
like, JJ, roll the window down.
Stop. What are y'all doing? What have you ate? God almighty.
I'm like, we need to detour by the ER because you need to get checked the fuck out.
I'm pretty sure you're fucking dying.
I've said that to him before. But, as were the times. So they spotted something far worse than they could have imagined. From the waist down, it was similar to the Flatwoods Monster, but from the waist up, it was a reptilian humanoid. This creature, thought to be the same creature that was sighted in Flatwoods, but without the top half of its suit, is known as the Frametown Monster. The creature dragged its lizard hand across the hood of the car before drifting away into the woods.
Is this when we find out that was RFK? Sorry.
As soon as the monster was out of sight, the car restarted and the couple sped away. This wasn't Audra, I'm sorry. She would later give an account for Mr. Snitswatsky would later give his account for the Mail magazine in July of 1955. And in her defense, she may have just thought she was on Bourbon Street and wanted some beads, so she went topless.
You know what? That's true.
But topless in Frametown does not get you beads. It gets you called a monster. Prudes.
They're body shaming.
They are.
God.
Just let her do her. She's young.
Really? Seriously?
The encounter made the local and national news, scaring a wider swath of people. It then prompted a U.S. Air Force UFO inquiry.
That's some serious shit then.
Part of a project called Project Blue Book. That dispatched a handful of investigators around the country to look into such claims. So I didn't know that Project Blue Book was such a thing.
I've never heard of that. I was thinking Kelly Blue Book, but
Kelly Blue Book is cars. Project Blue Book is saucers.
Yeah.
They'll let you know.
Vehicle.
They'll let you know what your resale value is.
Listen, this is a saucer from 2035. Ain't weird shit no more.
Can't get nothing.
Can't get nothing.
Scratched up on the outside.
Somebody definitely smoked in here.
Landed on a bunch of corn.
Look like you done hit all the curbs.
You said no accident, but you crashed into Mr. Bailey's wheat field. We seen it. We seen it.
We seen it.
So it has become a local legend, a southern spook story that defined the tiny village of less than 300 people for more than 6 decades. To this day, tourists come out of their way to Flatwoods, secluded in the low, timbered Appalachian hills of central West Virginia, to visit its monster museum and buy green monster tchotchkes and T-shirts. They have a museum there.
I love a tchotchke.
I love a tchotchke.
I love a good one. Okay, I love that. And sous vide cups, okay?
Yes.
And I am a slut for a graphic tee, okay? And if you put a cryptid on it, I would have everything.
Absolutely.
Do you have this in all colors? Don't worry, I just need black.
I love me a good tumbler coffee mug.
I mean,
so if you got one with
sometimes
him on
they have Tervis tumblers in there too. You know what I mean? Something for your grandma.
Exactly. I'm here for it. I'll buy them all.
I'll fund it. Listen, I will buy anything with like that just seems interesting. Like I was in Fargo, North Dakota, and at their welcome center, they had a basket of koozies that were all knitted. And I was like, oh my God, these are cute. They're like, yeah, it's all the local old ladies' home, old folks' home. All these old ladies get together and they do these koozies, and it's like a fundraising thing. I bought every koozie they had. I went by that
course
hotel.
you did.
Threw it. Hey, you get a koozie. You get a koozie. We all getting crochet koozies. It's so
You went in
fucking
there
cute.
and Oprah that place.
I did.
So
I
sweet
did.
of you. You know, it's like once you told me this story about the old ladies knitting them, I gotta buy them all.
I gotta buy them all.
My hands are tied.
You telling me somebody's grandma's with a rheumatoid arthritis in their hands, just knitting away, trying to get some
Koozies
money
for bingo prizes.
I mean,
I'm gonna do it.
the least I can do is throw some shekels their way.
It's probably a lie. It was probably his wife, and
Probably.
he takes all the money home. But you
They
sold.
probably brought out a whole nother basket for the next fucking dope like me.
But you know what, sir? You earned the money because you sold a good story.
You did. And that's why to this day I have a cute little like salmon pink koozie and American flag crocheted koozie.
I'm here for it. I feel like they would absorb a lot of condensation and get soggy and wet and mildew, but whatever.
Whatever. Do it for the grandma.
I see what you did there. But rattled eyewitnesses weren't the only reason the story took off. Americans were truly frightened in 1952, made anxious by atomic bombs and what seemed like a new world made by mad scientists. Even Life magazine, probably the most popular publication in the nation at the time, had just a few months early published a seemingly credible trend story about flying saucers. As we know, if you've watched any UFO documentaries, stories, or alien stories, this was the prime time for aliens.
It really was.
I mean, Roswell had happened in July of 1947.
We really need to go to Roswell.
We do. My mom's been.
It's only a hop, skip, and a jump away.
This was the height of UFO hysteria. This was the height of government paranoia and honestly, hidden government secrets. Spook stories sprout best when the seed lands in the bed fertile with anxiety that was 1952 Cold War America. A hothouse of anger, disillusionment, and anxieties made to order by conspiracy theorists, political demagogues, and tellers of suspenseful tales, but also in hidden truths.
I mean, honestly, I was watching a document. I love watching documentaries.
Oh, I
I'm
do
a
too.
nerd, but I was watching one on Vietnam, and they were talking about that era and how that's like the beginning of when Americans started realizing that the government lies to you.
Yes, exactly.
Like, it was this whole disillusionment that we had. Like, oh, like FDR was he had our best interests in mind, and da 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 da.
And now we don't believe anything they say.
Not a damn thing. All of them. Snake oil salesman.
We went from far left to far right. In the sense of believability. I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking, we believed everything they said, and now we believe nothing they say.
Yes, exactly. We went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
The May brothers' monster story hit just 3 years after the Soviet Union successfully tested an atomic bomb in 1949. The Air Force was scanning for bombers over our skies. New planes and attempts at making these crafts more hidden to the naked eye were truly a thing. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were awaiting execution for sending American nuclear weapon designs to the Soviets, selling hellfire to our mortal enemies. Senator Joseph McCarthy of Wisconsin had spent the previous 2 years stoking fears that communists had infiltrated not only the U.S. Department of State, but almost every industry and corner of the nation.
Oh my God, that sounds almost like rhetoric that I've heard these days. Only with they're taking our jobs.
And communists had killed thousands of American soldiers in Korea by 1952, including 4 youngsters 21 years or younger from Braxton County, West Virginia, who died just months before the monster landed. One of those killed in action, U.S. Marine PFC Lantry R. So, is she a cryptid, an alien, or a made-up story? Did the time in the world just create a true hysteria? Were people just so afraid that their minds made things up? An exaggerated truth, if you will.
I mean, talking about like the way she looks and sounds, it could sound like an exaggeration.
Yeah, an exaggeration of something they seen that the government was doing.
Especially if you didn't know what you were looking at.
Right.
Your brain is just so fucking perplexed that you're trying to make sense of it.
Yes.
But you're only there for...
And our brains do truly assign faces and things to things that we don't know because our brain... And this is real science. If you still believe in science, I do. That our brains try to make sense of things that don't make sense.
Mhm.
And so we assign characteristics and things to them that aren't truly there because our brain's like, it's got to be one of these things. It's like flipping through a Rolodex of what this could be. And it will just
Mhm.
assign those things to them that aren't truly there, which is why eyewitnesses are unreliable.
Very. You're only, what do they say? You're only retelling a memory of a memory.
Yes.
And every time you get a little bit further away from that memory.
So did they see something, maybe something being trained by the military? I mean, a small town of just 300 people, mainly small town people, farmers, is the perfect place to conduct such research. People that could be so easily discredited.
That's true.
Or do
You're
we-
like, of all the places, you're going to do it in this town?
Yeah.
Why not?
this is just a bunch of hillbilly farmers is what people will say.
I've seen Stranger Things. I know weird things happen in small towns.
Yes. Or do we just so blindly and so wantedly believe in UFOs? It's not necessarily that millions believe in UFOs, says behavioral psychologist Clay Routledge. Many UFO devotees usually don't believe, he says, but they are so seduced by the story. And I'm not going to lie, a good UFO story is quite seducing.
It very much is.
I'm here to listen to it. I'm here to watch it. I'm here to read the documentary. I want the records unsealed. I'm here for all of it.
I'm too afraid. I'm not a big alien person. Not because I don't believe in it or anything, but that's just too real for me. I actually knew a hairdresser that is terrified of aliens. And I remember talking about, she was, please don't, please. I just can't. And I was like, oh, you are like real afraid. But I was like, if there's anything in this world, it's the unknown that you could be afraid of.
Absolutely.
And your brain does go on run wild when you don't know what's out there in the universe.
Yes.
Just like for me and you, going out in the ocean is also terrifying. I don't know what the fuck's down there.
Exactly. They'd be bringing up strange creatures all the time
Bruh.
that they ain't never seen.
And
I will
people
not be a
trying,
victim.
They're going down there for funsies.
No.
Okay. I'm looking at you, Ocean Gate. Okay. They have all sorts of documentaries that have come out about it now. And I'm like, man, why did no one stop this shit? Because this was reckless.
Because money speaks.
And that's basically what it boiled down to.
Yes.
He had all these millionaires giving him all this money, and he's being forced to create results.
Yeah.
And what happened? Pressure. Under pressure.
They say you buckle under pressure.
Pressing down on me. Pressing down on you. Sorry. Excuse me. Echolalia.
We digress. So why do these UFO stories so seductive?
Tell me, Becky, why?
It's that there's the hope that we are not just insignificant organisms walking around aimlessly on a rock floating through space, says Routledge, who has studied brain science, UFO beliefs, and cultures. There's the hope that we're part of something bigger. Call it cosmic loneliness. And I love that.
I've thought about that. I'm pretty sure every human does this, but like at one point you go, I'm literally doing these actions, these physical actions to get paid a theoretical monetary thing while this rock just floats around the world and I'm just doing things repeatedly. So what's the point of it?
Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of these people with their true beliefs of it are. And I do think we'd be foolish to think we are the only things that exist, you know? Now, do I think that they're coming down and butt probing us? No, not necessarily.
No. For some reason, people really have a fixation on booty holes, okay?
I
can't help you there.
But
it's not me and it's not you, so we're not the experts on this. But
I like to think I'm somewhere in the middle of booty hole probing and not believing.
Yes. Right there on the fence, you know what I mean?
Right there. Right in the neutral zone.
Why is it always the butthole?
Why
always
is it
the
always?
butthole?
Freddie and Ed are still alive, and they are still standing by their story. They are in their late 70s now. They are no longer talking to reporters. They got tired after 100,000 interviews, it says.
I bet they would be. Like, listen, y'all just go listen to the Dateline version. Jesus Christ, leave me alone.
But the brothers did appear in a recent documentary about the Flatwoods Phantom. And in the video trailer teasing to that show, Freddie looks calmly into the camera. As far as for myself, he says, it doesn't matter to me whether people believe or don't believe. And he sounds like him and Sasquatch would get along really well.
Very much so.
Because Sasquatch says, fuck y'all too. I don't care if you believe. I don't believe in you neither.
I believe it. You know what? I got camouflaging abilities, okay? You ain't gonna
What
see
do
me.
you got?
I'm like John Cena. Can't see me.
You got a 2-door Buick, and that's it. So what is the truth? Or at least the truth that the Air Force says the Flatwoods Monster truly is? Well, that's easy. They said it's an owl.
Who? Bitch?
No.
Who?
Hoot.
Hoot.
Hoot. That's what you meant to say. I'm gonna need y'all to come up with something a little bit more plausible. Like
it was. First of all, do you not? I don't know any owls that's bodies are like 4 feet across.
I don't either. I mean, you could have said it was a malfunctioning tractor from another farm, and I would believe that more than I would it was an owl. You could have
told me it was a weather balloon, and I would have believed it more than that. A fucking owl?
An owl. I'm gonna need y'all to feed us some better grade A bullshit.
This isn't
than
1952 anymore. We've been through a lot of conspiracies.
Well, this is what they said
a lot of tinfoil at this point. You better come up with some real strong shit.
That is what they said in 52.
Oh, that's what they said in 52.
Yes.
Okay, well then that tracks then. I thought that was like today.
No, that was then. After they closed their, Blue Book project.
Yes.
Project Blue
They're
Book.
like, you know what? Tell them it's a fucking owl. They'll believe anything. And they did.
There were just a bunch of farmers. Tell them it was an owl. Tell them it was an owl that landed on a scarecrow.
So it's a rare type of owl that's seen from the Pacific Northwest.
All I could think was the episode of Ghost where Flowers is supposed to be an owl, and Trevor's like, that's a standard barn owl or whatever. Genus, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, there was a bunch of tridelts, so I took an ornithology class. That's all I kept thinking about. Yes, you heard me right now. The U.S. Air Force gathered this conclusion from their extensive research. They later revealed that they've done UFO research.
In my brain, I just see two guys in like lab coats walking through the West Virginia woods.
The men in black.
Like, I don't see anything. Looks like it's just fucking birds around here, guys. Let's chalk it up. Let's go get us.
Let's tell them it was an owl.
Let's get the fuck out of here. It's time for us to get our whiskeys, baby.
You know what? We haven't seen any owls. They seem like they don't come very often. We'll tell them that's what it was.
These motherfuckers won't know what an owl look like anyway.
That's right. They'll believe us.
They'll believe anything. The government never lies.
Brewskis. Prohibition's over, baby. They later revealed that they'd done UFO research and investigation since 1947, collecting thousands of stories, investing some with only a skeleton crew. It was just me and Gomer out here.
Me and Gomer out.
We didn't have a whole lot of people, but we did a lot of research. So
I'm just saying, like, we had to carry a weight because of lack of funding.
We only had number 3 pencils, not number 2.
Not number 2. And I don't know if you realize how brittle that graphite can be.
Very. Sadly, the Flatwoods Monster has not hissed at any boys in the little village of Flatwoods, Virginia since September 12th, 1952.
We can't say the same about our Catholic priest, though.
We cannot.
That shouldn't be funny, but sorry, guys. I can't help not throwing in a little bit of dark humor.
Do you know how I survive? I survive on gallows humor.
This is exactly what we survive on. And it's just,
all the way up to the gallows. I'm going to be cutting little jokey jokes. That's what you got to do, man. Get you through hard times.
I'm sure if there is a Jesus out there, he's rolling his eyes hard at some of the shit that comes out. Jamie rolls his eyes hard at the shit that comes out of my mouth.
I think he's proud because I think he's like, you know what? She's not smoking crack. She's just making dark jokes.
She's just making dark jokes. And that's all I can ask for.
That's all I can ask for.
You know, she contributes at the grocery line when they say, does she run round up?
I do every time. I put my card up. I don't leave it out to hit someone's car.
Exactly.
He's proud of me.
Very proud. I don't drink and drive.
Not anymore.
That was good.
Just kidding.
It's a kidding. But that was a good joke. That was
gallows humor. Although the monster has not been seen since the original incidents in 1952, its impact on the rural community has been huge. Sometimes if you stand outside at night. Jennifer.
They stand outside.
Stop it. I'm trying to set the tone.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Get serial.
Sometimes if you stand.
Came out involuntarily.
Sometimes if you stand outside at night and it's just right, you can almost feel it. Like the monster left a gift from the stars for us, but we just haven't quite found it yet. I love it. Touching. An article by Marion Hosley. Hosley is a paranormal enthusiast. Same girl, same.
Same.
And a huge fan of the Flatwoods Monster. Same.
We're starting a fan club. She could be the secretary.
Marilyn is employed by the Flatwoods Monster Museum, and I'm just saying.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say the Flatwoods Monster. I'm like, well, there goes the solution the whole time. You just had to book a meeting with her.
You just had to follow the paper trail. She's been getting pet stubs for 50 years. No, sadly, the Flatwoods Monster does not pay anybody unless it's in butt probes. And she's the author of a fantasy novel for young teens entitled The Swift Ones. If the Flatwoods Monster has got you curious, well, guess what? You're in luck. They have the Flatwoods Monster Museum in Braxton County. According to blogger Mackenzie Mullen, who visited the museum, the walls were lined with all kinds of knickknacks like Flatwoods-inspired Pokemon cards, newspaper clippings, books, comic books, drawings, and paintings, and more figurines and action figures than you could count.
See, I love it like a small local cryptid that a city's about. When I worked at the chamber in Georgia, I worked in Darien, Georgia, and they had the Altamaha, which is like a Nessie. And in the lobby of the chamber, which should still be there, is a huge sculpture of the Altamaha.
I love it. I'm here for it. There was also a collection of Braxton County monster lanterns that were first created in the late 60s and are still handmade today at Darlene Ceramics in Marietta, Ohio. The museum had a few different versions of the oil lamps on display, along with original ceramics and mold to create the lamps. Another really interesting thing she saw during her time was an official proclamation by the Braxton County Commissioner that acknowledged the Flatwoods Monster and its many names.
And that came from a county commissioner, so that's some like up there shit, okay? That's some highfalutin bullshit, okay? I don't know if you know what small towns are like, but county commissioners hold some fucking weight.
And I like to say that's facts on facts on facts.
Facts on facts on facts. It tracks. It tracks.
It also credited the fame and legend of Braxton County to the monster, noted the cultural influence, and the officially named September 12th as Braxton County Monster Day.
Aw. You know what? September 12th. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be celebrating.
That's right. Respect your elders. Respect the people that built this county for you. Fun fact, this
whole thing's been fun facts. I love it.
It has.
I've enjoyed the shit out of this.
Fun fact, the Flatwood Monster design is popular among Japanese UFO culture. She has been placed in numerous video games and media.
Really?
So if the Flatwoods Monster tickles your fancy, you can check out the museum, video games, or a movie, including The Flatwoods Monster, A Legacy of Fear. And that, my friends,
Japanese are really interesting people. They also have a huge fascination in cowboys and honky tonks, and you can go over to Japan, and they literally will have a honky tonk with a bunch of Japanese people singing country songs.
That's adorable.
They love some karaoke.
Let me give you my sources, because I didn't give those. BraxtonWV.org, The Flatwoods Monster. History.com, articles, Flatwoods Monster, West Virginia. AugustaArtsandCulture.org, Appalachian Cryptids, The Flatwoods Monster. And CryptidsFandom.com, Flatwoods Monster.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
It was fun, wasn't it?
I feel like I heard about it, but I did not know anything about it.
No.
It's just one of those things, like you hear the term and you kind of like, let me store that kernel for a wormhole later. Don't worry about it. My best friend did it for me.
That's right.
I love that. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm always here for the humor and the, I really want people to believe in the magic that's still in the world.
And that magic is cryptids.
That's right. I'm here to educate the masses.
Well, you guys, don't forget to find us on our socials. We recently gotten a sponsorship by Dubby Energy Drinks. It's good, clean, tasty energy without all the brain worms that RFK dreams of.
And they don't have dyes in them. So thanks, Trump.
Exactly. Visit dubby.gg and use code TCTH to get 10% off your order. Help a girl out, all right? And while you're at it, don't forget to visit us on all the platforms you listen to, subscribe and rate us 5 stars because I know you've been laughing your ass off, okay? We some funny bitches. And until next time,
stay safe.
keep your head on a swivel.
And don't bring it too close to home and have the Air Force Project Blue Book coming to your house, knocking on your door, asking about butt probes.
And then claiming it's owls.
Exactly.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo, motherfucker. Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode of Too Close to Home, don't forget to rate and subscribe to us on most platforms. Follow us on our social media at Too Close Home Pod on Facebook, at Too Close Podcast on Instagram, or if you have your own Too Close to Home experience, shoot us your story at tooclosetohome@yahoo.com. Thanks for listening.